Hey guys, it's Nemo and welcome to the next video of the HMS destroyers, the Royal Navy destroyers. This is the Acasta. Now I have unlocked the Acasta, the Icarus and the Jarvis in the Royal Navy containers. I'm hoping to get the Lightning so I can do a Lightning video for everyone. I'll do an Icarus one. But what I do have to say is that I'm not very impressed with either the Acasta or the Icarus. Now the Acasta here has 6 km detection if you have a 10-point captain. So you can get it down to as equal as your torpedo range. So 6 km torpedoes, no hydro for the Acasta as it's a tier 5. Tier 5 is a horrible tier. You aren't the worst destroyer at tier 5. You know, you can possibly outgun the Nicholas, you will outspot the Nicholas, and you're probably better than the T-22 as well. But you've got to remember, tier 5 you play against Gramiashi, Kamikaze, Kamikaze R, Fujin. Yeah, there's a lot of good little destroyers that are down at this tier. So the first thing we want to do is get into the cap. Now, as I said, I've got a 6 km detection. I get spotted by the Gallant. Now the Gallant is tier 6 Royal Navy destroyer, which has 8 km torpedoes, so it can actually stealth torp, which is good. But it's totally different to the Royal Navy destroyer line. So I'll back up a little bit. What I want to do is try to spot this Gallant. Now 6 km detection for me, 6 km detection for him. We'll spot each other, but because I have short range torpedoes, I have to play defensively instead of attacking him. So I'll just wait for him to fire, because then once he fires he gets spotted first and I'm going to go by everyone else. He'll stay spotted longer is what I'm talking about, so that you have that 20-second cooldown after you fire your guns, in which your detection is buffed to the max range of your guns. So that's what I was trying to get him to do, just bait him into firing so he could be spotted. Now here I'm in a division with some of my newer players in my clan. I'm just helping them out a little bit. I try to smoke her up to help her disengage. I look back every now and then just to check how she's going. She's played less than 200 battles and she does pretty well for less than 200 battles, but there's a lot of little tricks that she hasn't got yet, and sitting broadside in the smoke screen is one of the ones that she hasn't worked out yet. But anyway, what I want to do is spot this Gallant, and he gets spotted by, I think it's our Jarvis. Our Jarvis spots him, which is our Acasta, sorry. I knew our Jarvis was in the cap, so our Acasta spots him, our other one, and we can start firing on him. So the good thing about the Royal Navy destroyers is, as previous in the Jarvis video, you can smoke up really quickly and just start firing away. But the Acasta doesn't really have great gunfire. You've really got to play this where you let them come to you. Now you play that way with both the Icarus and the Jarvis as well, but with the Acasta you really have to let them come, because you can't lead at all. You can't attack with torpedoes. At least in the Jarvis you sort of can in the right situation, but very rare. If you saw my Jarvis video, it's, you know, the whole way I played there was extremely defensive, just like this. So now I know that the enemy cap, this cap's safe. We've got a couple of destroyers and other ships around here, so I'm going to go and contest the B cap. You know, cap control wins games. Even though you're not a very good destroyer, you still have to play the destroyer role. So I've got a what's my role video, if any of you guys want to have a look at that. But essentially your role as the destroyer is contest caps. So cap, fight off enemy destroyers, and then spot. So cap control is your game. Now in these Royal Navy destroyers, cap control is especially your game, because you can't really move out and attack. So something smoked up in the smoke screen, one of the enemy destroyers. Now I know there's a mast hanging around. I fire my short range torps to try and hopefully get my opponent. Now I know that a lot of my opponents do sit in smoke, especially, well, not even at low tier, but I get a lot of them sitting broadside in high tiers as well. So here we try to showcase the guns a little bit. I do have the BFT skill. I would rather take that first on the Royal Navy destroyers than the survivability expert for that little bit of extra health, because your guns just don't fire that well. I mean, I've got BFT on here and it still is 4.1 seconds. 4.1 seconds with only 4 guns that don't fire that well. You really need it just to give yourself a little bit of an edge. Now I held off on the repair party there because I knew that the Dallas was going to fire, and he did, and he just punched me through the nose really hard there. Wasn't something I wanted to take, but I knew it was coming. That's why I held off on my repair party. So thankfully he goes down from our Jarvis. And I don't want to sit broadside here. I know that there was a couple of destroyers hanging around, so I need to move as quick as I can. So I move out and get into the cap. You want to move around a little bit more with these destroyers at the base of the cap. Try not to get spotted as much because you haven't got the gunfire power. And remember, with tier 5s, I'm bottom tier here. This is going to be a regular game that you are going to face in an Acasta, where you are going to be on the bottom 9 times out of 10. And then when you do end up playing that tier 4, tier 5 game, you're going to be outgunned by both the Shenyang and the Clemson. It's not the best, not a fun destroyer to play. This is actually my first battle in this destroyer. I've played 2 battles in this destroyer at the moment, and I think that I'm just going to sell it. Yeah, I don't really enjoy it that much. Now the reason I didn't fire on the Gallant there is because I don't want to let the rest of his team spot me, but now that he's fired, he's got that buff, that 20-second buff on his guns, so everyone can see him. This plane's annoying. Planes are so annoying when you're a destroyer. Anyway, what I want to do is head down below the cap. I don't want to go straight back into the cap through the islands there, because that's just death. I don't want to go north of the cap because I haven't got the concealment to, or the torpedo range to be able to take on that battleships. And there's a lot of destroyers still hanging around. There's still 3 destroyers on the game, and they're all over, well, there's 2 of them at least over here. And one of them is a mast, which has very good gunfire, especially if it uses AP on your broadside. AP on your broadside from a mast can absolutely wreck things. It's just a German destroyer thing. They're very good with their arm piercing. Now, unfortunately, I get spotted again by this plane. Not for too long, but with some players that can well be enough. Now, what I want to do here is hit this bind. Now, I know he's moving away, so I throw my torpedoes down to where I think he's going to turn to. And unfortunately, a little bit of a spoiler, he does turn in the direction of my torpedoes, but just too late for the torpedoes to hit. So the torpedoes go past him before he turns, which is unfortunate. But that's what I wanted him to do. And he does what I want him to do, although he didn't hit the torps at all. Gallant pops back up, well within my range here. So I just start opening up on him, because remember, you've got these little smokes that you can just use to disengage. Fire it at him in the smoke, hit him in the smoke. One thing that's really good to practice, especially getting higher up in the tiers, is being able to shoot ships in the smoke. If you can hit ships in the smoke, you'll cause them to leave and run. You don't want anyone camping in the smoke as much as you can, especially when you get up to the likes of tier 10. But the Haragumo sit in the smoke all day and just absolutely farm you. And it's not very fun being farmed by a destroyer like that, or any ship like that. Anyway, we need to go up here and sort of get rid of this Gallant. He's just annoying the rest of my team. And as you can see, the team the ships are even, but the score is ahead. But anything can turn in these games. Anything can turn. Our team's very spread out, whereas theirs is quite compact. So if they were able to work together, they could destroy one ship at a time and really make it hard for us. So that buy-in just pops up, which is good. I wanted to torpedo there anyway because I knew he was behind the island, so we just wanted him to keep coming out. The Gallant pops up in the wrong spot, unfortunately, and he gets destroyed. Our Jarvis had a very good game this game, and being a top tier destroyer is really helpful. But a lot of, like, tier 7 is a really good tier. You'll mainly play against tier 7s, tier 6s. So tier 8 is pretty much we usually play with tier 7. So 7, 8, 6, 7 it's a good area. Whereas tier 5, no, tier 5 you pretty much play this kind of matchmaking all the time against tier 7s, and that's why this destroyer is, I just don't find it competitive enough. Now unfortunately here the destroyer doesn't slow down enough, and I sort of derp out of the smoke, which is unfortunate, but I do just get away with it. But now my smoke's going to run out and I'm going to be in close proximity anyway to both this buy-in and the Brittany coming behind me. And all you can do at this stage is pray. Just keep those WASD moving around. So what I do is I look around to find out who can hit me or who's aiming at me. Now the buy-in hits me with his secondary batteries. That's what that fire is there. Thankfully he's burning down. We've got a whole heap of battleships firing on me right now, and we just lose 2 ships in a row. It's not ideal. And luckily for me, these smokes are very short cooldown, so they come back. I try to get rid of the buy-in, but our Jarvis, as I said, he had a very good game. He gets rid of it. Now, this part here, I'm right down on low health, and there's shots coming in, and I accidentally hit my... Lucky it was an accident, but I stopped the ship and I didn't realise I did. I wanted to keep going, but it paid off, and just survived. And my new teammate, she says, what a pro, and I was just like, if only she knew it was a derp. But anyway, she probably does now if she watches the video. And lucky for me, I did actually stop the ship there, because it meant that the shells went over my head. And a lot of the times when you are running in a destroyer, just do that. Just stop the ship completely. Like, go from full ahead to full astern straight away. So what I want to do is try and torp this battleship. I could go to the single torpedoes, but I don't think that they would be too effective when a ship's moving around like this, because you need to torpedo what is coming towards you. Unfortunately he turns away, as you can see there, but when a ship is coming at you, that is how you maximize your torpedo damage in these Royal Navy destroyers. You need to sort of wait and bait them in, and that's really frustrating gameplay. It's, as I said in my Jarvis video, you have to be just patient. You just got to be patient as. So everyone else is spotting at the moment, which is good, because I got 40 seconds where I can open fire and try and get some fires, and I do get a fire here. I've just got to keep my eye down there on the Fuso and the Queen Elizabeth. Now if they smoke fire, see here, I actually watched this fire from the Cesare came in, was meant for me. He smoke fired, he can't see the Jarvis. And lucky I was just... lucky you can't get an aim properly on in a smoke fire, so otherwise I could have taken a lot of damage. Now it's 5 ships versus 4, 960 points. Now at this stage of the game, for anybody playing the game, stop firing at the enemy. You've got about 20 seconds. You've got 2 caps, that's 6 points every, I think it's every 2 seconds or 3 seconds, I'm not sure of what it is. It's probably longer. I think it's Anyway, it's not very long, and it's 996 points. We were 4 points away from winning this game, but the guys just kept firing, and you don't need to keep firing. I said it in my Jarvis video, the same thing happened in the Jarvis video where we had less ships at the end, but we still won the game. And I've made a video, as I said with my previous commentary, about the discretion is the better part of valor. Now, unfortunately, our Jarvis got hit in the smoke screen, smoke firing. That was a very good blind shot from the Fuso. The Jarvis was on low health. But again, even though he played well, I think that was one of his only mistakes. He should have just gone dark and not fired. I'm not saying that I had a perfect game in here. I just had a game where I did my job. I capped C to start with, I capped B, and then I went around to try to defend those caps. Yes, I couldn't defend C, but I held on to B. Okay, so you just need to hold your caps, and that's all you can really... If you do that in these Royal Navy destroyers, then that's your job, because that's the type of play these destroyers have. It's a very defensive, let them come, lure them in, torpedo them, run away, do it again, rinse and repeat. That's how they sort of play, and that's how you're going to have the most success. If you try to be an attacking destroyer, you're not going to have as much success, so you need to just spot. So here at the end, I just want my battleship to stay away. The York went in to try and cap C, and against 4 battleships in the York, you haven't got the best concealment at all. So trying to cap that close to the enemy, that was always going to be a kill there. So thankfully Mabayan, he just legged it. He's been legging it for a while, and good on him actually. He didn't need to fire, and he didn't fire. So I did my job at the end. I kept them all spotted, and we win. So defensive play, suck them in, torpedo them, run, go back, rinse and repeat. That's the sort of play that these Royal Navy destroyers at these tiers have. Overall, I did my job. We finished 4th on the team. Anyway guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.